Hello friends, welcome to my channel Diamonds and Washi. This is Katie, and if you're new here, hi, welcome. I'm glad that you're here, and if you're back, welcome back. There's actually a chance that we will have some new faces in here tonight, maybe more than usual, because this WIP Chat may or may not be going up as a premiere as part of the diamond painting community's Christmas Eve and Christmas premiere schedule. So we will see, but either way, I'll be sharing this with you guys, and if nothing else, we still get to have a WIP Chat and catch up a little bit here over the holidays. So before I get started, I'll let you guys know what I'm working on tonight. I'm working on Starry Night Santa from Diamond Art Club. It's a square kit and it's working out pretty quickly. I'm going to be using this very festive pen from Jim's Handmade Pen Shop over on Etsy. The minder was a gift from a sweet friend. I'm a very big Disney fan, so this is especially appropriate. And the tray and the stopper are from Painting with Diamonds UK. I will, as always, link everything in the description below. These are all things that I thoroughly enjoy using, so please do go check them out. Oh, and I will also be using Not Your Mama's Mud for my wax of choice for my single placer tonight. So, happy holidays, everyone. How are all of you doing? This is just such a kind of wild time of year, right? Let me get this situated real quick. Okay, there we go. Really quickly, in case you are new to diamond painting or diamond painting YouTube videos in general, you might have heard me mention that tonight we're just going to be doing a WIP Chat together. And if you're not familiar with what a WIP Chat is, WIP stands for Work in Progress and Chat. So pull out whatever project you're working on, or if you're going out for a walk, or just kicking back and relaxing after a little bit of hustle and bustle with the holidays, or if you're diamond painting, because I don't know about you, but I'm hoping to get lots of diamond painting in over the holidays. Feel free to pull out a project or have me on in the background, and we'll just catch up together and chat. So, okay, let me get this color started. Okay. Gosh, this is one of the first Diamond Art Club kits that I feel like I have come super close to running out of more than one color. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So I'll hop on back to what I was asking and just a little check-in. How are you guys doing? I'd imagine with the holidays looking different for most of us this year, that probably how you're spending this time is not how you would have expected. If someone would have asked you Christmas last year, what are your plans for next Christmas going to be? Or the holidays, not just Christmas. What are your plans for next December going to be? And gosh, that's certainly the case for my family. We live across the country from from our parents and from our siblings and our extended family. So usually Christmas and the holidays for us means lots of travel. And this year is going to be quite different. We're going to be spending our time at home. This will be the first time that we've been home on Christmas Day since we moved out here over a decade ago. So that'll be different, especially with our two little ones. But even though it's looking very different, I'm trying to find the things that I'm going to enjoy about the differences. Though, of course, that's easier said than done, right? I feel like I cannot be the only one who also is struggling a little bit this season in terms of mental health. If you're anything like us, you've spent much of the past 9 months socially distanced and not going about your daily life as usual. And that's a long time to be out of a routine and to be having to just adapt and probably not be as social with people that you love that in person that you would otherwise normally be. And so it's tough, right? I feel like the holidays and other big events can be huge stress triggers under entirely normal circumstances. And I have no doubt that I'm not the only one that's having an extra tough time this year because I'm just tired. I'm just tired from what the past months have looked like. And so I just wanted to chat a little bit about mental health and ways that we can be taking care of ourselves through these holidays, through the new year. So I feel like even just the studies out there that they've done have been showing that people really are struggling this year in particular. And if you've been here for a little while, if this isn't your first video here, you'll know that I am so far from shy about talking about mental health. I totally understand that there is a huge stigma attached to talking about mental health, particularly in the United States where I live. And a lot of people hesitate to reach out for help because it means that you're admitting something is wrong and that you're not perfect. And sort of the implications of that and the process of that can be really overwhelming and intimidating, which, gosh, isn't that just the worst part? That when we most need help, what we need most really would be for there to be easy supports and structures in place so we don't have to work super hard to get help. And how often is that just simply not the case? And I'm running into this myself with, I'm trying to find just a talk therapist that will take my insurance to start with in the new year. And it is just, I'm so tired of spending time on the phone with my insurance company and with doctor's offices. It's exhausting and everything is real dicey because it's the holidays and it's just the absolute last thing I need. But if you're feeling a similar tension and struggle, there are still things that you can do to hopefully help you get through the holiday season and feel like you're thriving and not just surviving, though frankly I'll take survival to the end of the year at this point. I have 2 little ones at home. I have a 5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old, and they both have had their own respective challenges and ways that they've thrived in the past months. My 2.5-year-old, I very affectionately refer to as my tiny tornado. And I worry for him that he hasn't had the chance to socialize with people outside of our home much and just have that like play. Also, he's destroying my house, but that's, neither here nor there. Literally, we have our Christmas tree up, but we didn't put any ornaments on it this year because I knew, sure enough, within like a couple of days of having it up, he was throwing toys at it, seeing if that would knock it over. And my 5-year-old he started kindergarten this fall, and they're doing hybrid / remote learning, and he has some extra needs as well. He has some extra supports that he gets from the school because he is autistic, and he has a really fabulous teacher. And I'm mostly just sad that he's not getting to see her in person, but she's fantastic, so I'm grateful for that. But thankfully, he is now on Christmas break, so we're hopefully going to get the chance to just relax and enjoy these days together. But one thing that I have really struggled with, and whether or not you are a parent, I'd imagine that I'm not the only one that's felt like, there's a lot that I can't really do this year that I normally would get to do over the holidays. I feel it more strongly as it relates to my kids. Like, my kids aren't seeing Santa in person this year. And of course there are alternatives. I've seen any number of Zoom or video conference Santas or socially distanced Santa. That's all fine, but it still is different, and that's just how it is. And other things, like our kids aren't gonna see their grandparents this year, their cousins, which is a bummer. We're hoping to get to see people early next year, but even if we wanted to fly and just do so safely, it would be trying to get a 2.5-year-old to keep a mask over their face for a 6-hour plane ride if you get something direct. Yeah, no, that's not really going to happen, and I don't want to subject us or our fellow passengers to something like that. So, there's other things like I live fairly close to Disneyland. I'm in Southern California. I live pretty close to Disneyland, and typically we've gotten annual passes as like our Christmas gifts from family, or at least, something to put towards those. Disneyland has been closed since the end of March, which has, I don't think, ever happened in the park's history for them to be closed this long. But so normally, and I know this is such a first world problem, I get that, but I hope you hear the heart behind it. Normally we get to, part of our holidays looks like we get to enjoy just what the holidays at Disney look like, where we'll just go and walk around and enjoy the decorations and all of the characters in their holiday costumes and that sort of thing. And I was so looking forward to it this year because my 5-year-old is old enough to be really into that kind of thing right now, and my 2.5-year-old is finally old enough to probably be more into that kind of thing right now. And like they like looking at Christmas lights and stuff when we're driving around. I'm sad that they're missing out this year on what that could look like at Disney, with the parades and everything like that. So yeah, this year it just looks different, and it's very, very, very easy for me to focus on all of the things that I am missing out on, that my kids are missing out on, and to just sort of mope and think about all of the just the sort of sense of loss, like the way that my expectations have been let down. And again, even under the best of circumstances, when something doesn't meet your expectations, that can be really, really difficult, especially when it's like a bigger level thing. And I came across, I just sort of come across articles with ideas for things, for how to just sort of mitigate and cope with extra anxiety, stress, depression as it relates to the holidays in the middle of a global pandemic. And one of my favorite things that I came across was the idea of countering that sense of loss with a sense of gratitude. And I've talked about this sort of thing before, and of course I want to upfront acknowledge that this comes from a place of a certain amount of privilege, where I fully understand that there are a lot of people that they are so far from a place where they can feel gratitude because they are undergoing heavy struggles, and I understand that. But at least for me and for where I'm at and where my family is at, it has made a difference for me to pivot when I feel that heaviness and that just sadness and sense of loss, and instead try to put a spin on it for ways that good has come out of it. I'm grateful that my kids actually get to wake up in their own beds on Christmas morning. That's going to be really fun for us. It's not something that our kids, or frankly us, have gotten to do since we got married and moved out here. Which, fun little fact about me, I graduated from college, got married 2 weeks after that, and moved across the country a month after that. That was a crazy summer. So we've always taken advantage at the holidays of my husband's and mine, when I was working pre-kiddos, our built-in holiday vacation time to travel and not have to take lots of PTO. Anyway, so I've been focusing on things like that. Like, oh my gosh, my kids get to wake up in their own beds on Christmas morning. And, there's a value in moving at a slower pace. And I'm finding myself appreciating the quieter moments and not feeling the sense of hustle and bustle. Something I have really struggled with, though, is that I have felt fairly low energy in terms of just making things happen. And what I mean by that is, over the past several weeks, when I've been trying to think of okay, how can we still help our kids have a meaningful holiday season, or what I think defines a meaningful holiday season, which is not necessarily true. But hold on, did I put that? Yeah, okay. Sorry. Thought I got a little overzealous with my multiplacer. So I have ideas for things like, oh, sure, we can have the kids, we'll have them write a letter to Santa, and we could try to do the Zoom thing or whatever. But then it takes more mental margin than I have. And for my own sake, I've had to come to terms with it. That's okay. For a lot of families, for a lot of moms, they have the capacity to do all of these fun and alternative things, and do all these other things, and I've just had to be okay with that's not going to be me this year. And that doesn't mean my kids aren't going to have a special and meaningful holiday, but it's kind of part of that comparison game, right? You see other people doing these things and feel well, I should be doing that too. I don't want my kids to miss out. I don't want to be a bad parent, or I don't want to feel like I'm missing out. And then you feel like you just put all this pressure on yourself to meet all of these crazy expectations. And in case you haven't been good at giving yourself permission, I want to take a minute to give you permission that it is okay to let some things go. It is okay to say, you know, X, Y, and Z just is not going to happen this year. The elf is in quarantine for the month. Or, no, like Santa is in quarantine too, so we're not going to talk to him this year, kiddos. Or, no, I'm not going to get to go shop in person and take my time, trolling every single Home Goods to find the exact perfect gift and have a return pile that fills up my trunk because I just was on the search for the perfect thing. Yeah, I tend to do that kind of thing. And I had to I called my brother and my parents and talked to them and just said, just so you know, like, where I'm at this year is Amazon is your Santa from us this year, and our budget is super tight, so you're not going to be, like, I can't have Amazon shipped to me and then me wrap it up and then pay to ship it, and I can't pay for the extra Amazon gift wrap and that sort of thing, and just to let them know, like, look, it's going to look a little different this year. A drink of water. Hydrate. Speaking of, if you're not drinking your water, get on that too. That can make a big, big difference in how you feel. And it's easy to forget when you're running around with all the hustle and bustle of the holidays, whatever that looks like for you now. So, gentle reminder, hydrate, please. Can help you feel a little better. Anyway, so embracing being okay with letting things go and not killing myself trying to still make like the perfect thing. I actually had to have another just really gentle conversation with my very sweet mom, who I love dearly. She has the very, very best intentions of the world, and I know she misses seeing her grandkids very, very dearly. And she has just been, she so badly wishes she were here to help in person. And so she has been trying to make up for that by sharing lots of ideas and suggestions for things we can be doing, And I had to just at one point a couple of days ago very gently let her know, like, Mom, I love you and I so appreciate that you're finding and sharing these ideas with me, but can you not for just a little bit, because I am feeling just very out of spoons. If you're familiar with mental health or chronic illness, there's this whole idea of spoon theory, which is this sort of concept that imagine you start the day with like a set number of spoons at your disposal that represents the amount of energy that you have. And then each task that you're going to do that day takes a certain number of spoons. And some days you wake up with more spoons, some days you wake up with fewer. So if you start the day with 10 spoons, getting dressed takes 1, and making dinner from scratch takes 4. Like, the idea that you really only have like a limited margin to make things happen. I hope I explained that well. Feel free to jump in if I explained that poorly and if you're more familiar with it. But basically I had to tell my mom, like, I don't have the spoons to do X, Y, Z and the alphabet all over again. We did manage to get the Christmas tree up, but the stockings are still somewhere in the garage that I need to pull out before Christmas morning, which, depending on when this goes up, because I'm recording this a few days before Christmas, so take what I'm saying with that grain of salt. The stockings will go up for Christmas morning. There's no tree skirt around the tree, which I'll want to pull out, and there's no ornaments on it. And I didn't pull out any of my Christmas decor because I didn't have the energy. And I can do very, very little during the day when my toddler is awake, because if I look away for 10 seconds, he is into something or breaking something, or he is a handful. And if he had been my first child, I probably would have thought that it was a reflection of like poor parenting on my part. But no, my first child, we haven't done anything different. It's a personality thing. Anyway, I keep getting sidetracked. That's okay. We were talking about ways that we can take care of our mental health in these super weird times. So one of the things that you can do is to give yourself permission to not do it all. When I was talking about, letting my mom know, like, I need you to stop giving me lots of suggestions for things to do with the boys, because it's overwhelming for me and it's making me feel like a failure because I haven't been able to do these things. That's part of just drawing boundaries. And it completely is going to depend on your relationship with the people that you need to draw boundaries with. But drawing boundaries does not always mean that you're being mean and rude. There are gentle ways to do so if that's the kind of relationship that you have with someone that is it's a healthy relationship, and so you're just gently drawing a boundary. And of course, I know that we all have those relationships with people that are much tougher, and that we have to be much more firm and come on strong about how we need to do that. But you need to do whatever you need to take care of your own mental health right now. So it is okay to draw those lines where you need to. Another suggestion that I am probably not the right person to make it, because I'm really terrible about it. I would much rather sit and craft all day, but I keep hearing that going for walks is a really good way to combat stress and anxiety. The extra stuff that comes with the holidays. I'm fortunate enough to live in a place with mild weather, and I could be outside walking every day, and I probably should be better about that, because there are lots of people with lots of snow going, what the heck, if I had warm weather, I'd be outside all the time. So here, I'll say it on here and you can keep me accountable. I am going to start going outside for walks more often and getting that vitamin D too. Unless it's like snowing, and then I guess you're not getting that much vitamin D. Drink your water, hydrate, and as much as you can, try to eat well, just in the sense that you sure, indulge, but also find things that sometimes are just better for fueling your body so that you feel less low energy. I know for me, I already feel really low energy just as part of the holiday blues. And so I'm going to be very intentional about trying to find things that make me feel a little bit more energized, that I suppose are not just coffee and caffeine. And another thing that I think is helpful to do is, if you know that you have things that are triggers for you, and not in the like politically charged way that word has been twisted to mean, but like actual triggers, things that if you see or encounter are gonna send you into a spiral, set yourself up for success to avoid them. I had to take the Facebook app off of my phone a few months ago because I would just go to it out of habit, and it had gotten to be such a toxic place that it was extremely triggering for me, and just felt like I would then spiral. So if you can find those things that tend to put you in a not as great place, I encourage you to take the steps to try to prevent that from happening, at least over the holidays themselves. I keep telling myself next year will be better, and I hope it will. And gosh, another thing that I guess I have been a little bit better at, and that I will say has made a huge difference for me, and I'd imagine for many of you as well, is to not isolate and not hunker down by yourself and cut off any other social interaction. And if you're here, you're doing it. If you're interacting, even if it's just through watching this and hearing another voice, like that is totally a good step and a good way to help yourself not just sort of hunker down and isolate. I'm really, really, really grateful for the crafting community, the diamond painting community here and on Instagram. It really, truly has been a lifeline for me. And for whatever reason, I've been more overwhelmed at the idea of like video chatting and staying closely in touch with, I say real life friends, and what I just mean by that is in person, like people that I met in person outside of the social media crafting community. I've had a harder time it takes more energy for me to really stay up with them than it does here. I'm guessing a lot of that is just because we all have this really built-in commonality and thing to talk about and all of that. So finding your people, I use that phrase a lot and I mean it. If you can find your people, hold them close. And, as much as many of us are probably feeling that video chat, Zoom fatigue, I think it's one way that we can help Christmas Day or whatever. I keep saying Christmas. Please know that I am including all holidays that are being celebrated this time of year. It's just my default because that's what my family celebrates, but I'm trying to be a little more inclusive. So one way that we're going to try to stay more connected is we're going to do like a group video chat, do like FaceTime or Facebook Messenger or something like that with my parents and then my brother and his partner that live in, girlfriend that live in Oregon, and at least for Christmas morning we'll video chat to open up our gifts from each other and that kind of thing. And we did that on Thanksgiving where we just did a group video chat for the very first time ever with all of us, and we all kind of had the same reaction, like, why did it take a pandemic for us to try doing something like this? Because given that we all live in different states, like, we're really only maybe getting together, all of us, like once a year, because flying is expensive. But yeah, we thought, why did it take a global pandemic for us to try doing like a big group video chat? Because this is actually really nice. That's our family dynamic. I totally understand that a lot of people don't necessarily have that same kind of dynamic in relationships, but that's an idea for a way to help you feel maybe less isolated over the holidays. And if you are one of those people that, if you're someone that is not really struggling and your mental health is in like a really good spot, if you feel like you have the margin to reach out to those people in your life that maybe are in a tough spot, it would probably mean the world to them, even if they don't text or call back. I have completely been that person where in some seasons of my life, I just have not had the energy to respond to a text that someone has sent me checking in. But I have always, always immensely appreciated that someone took that time to check in on me and that they thought of me and thought, I wonder how she's doing. And, you know, especially those people that are very near and dear to me that know my own personal struggles with my mental health, the fact that they took the time to reach out because they knew that this is a tough time of year or just wanted to check in meant a lot. It really did. So that's just something to keep in mind. So going back to what I had mentioned about gratitude, as I'm reflecting on the year and looking ahead a little bit, it has me thinking back to my friend Lindsay. She has a YouTube channel and an Instagram. I'll link her in the description. Life with Lindsay. She's wonderful and encouraging and hilarious and a dear friend. She shared about how she has been writing in a gratitude journal this year. You can get them off of Amazon. I'm sure you could just grab any notebook and do it, but sometimes it's nice to have prompts and things that can mix it up a little bit. But it'll literally just be like 3 lines and just say something like, I am grateful for blank today. And it can be big or little things. And I really, really like the idea of that. I especially like the idea that they're not dated in the sense that it's not like there's a big glaring hole, like if you miss a day, you just write in the date that you're writing something you're thankful for. But I wonder if something like that could be helpful for you as well. Because I think it would be so neat to get to the end of a year, and even if I had only written in the thing a dozen times over the past year, to still look back on those things that I probably forgot about, but go, oh yeah, that was something that I was grateful for and was good that day. Look at all of these things that I did have to be grateful for. So while I'm not getting to have the holidays that I was hoping and expecting to, which I was going to tell you guys a little bit more about what my holidays looked like when I was growing up and what my traditions tend to look like. And please feel free to share below what your holidays have, crazy traditions or things that you grew up with, or new things that you're trying this year, or what, things that you associate with the holidays. So growing up, we lived a few hours from both my mom's side and my dad's side of the family. And so I've always had very strong associations of traveling at the holidays because that's when we would see family, extended family. So most of the time, my associations are of we would get up on Christmas morning and my parents would literally give us a time that we were allowed to wake them up, because I'm pretty sure one year we tried waking them up at like 4:30 in the morning and they were like, no. No and no. Because we were kids and we just thought, Santa came, we have to open the presents. Of course, I'm sure we didn't go back to sleep. We just put something on the TV and waited for it to be okay to wake our parents up. Anyway, so they would give us a time that we could open our stockings and then a time we could wake them up, like half an hour apart. So we would open Christmas gifts, eat like a fun Christmas breakfast, usually with my mom's sticky bun recipe or something similar. And then we would all pile into the car and drive 3 hours to see family. And my mom's side of the family, she's one of 7. She has 6 brothers and sisters. All of my aunts and uncles had 2 to 3 kids. So I was on the older end of that grouping of the cousins, but there were 25 cousins running around, grandkids and great grandkids running around, in my grandparents' not large house. It was always so chaotic and loud, but at least as a kid, I loved every second of it because I loved spending time with my cousins. But oh my gosh, I remember the first time that I brought my husband to a holiday thing. I don't know if I took him before we were engaged, because it was always, on Christmas Day, of course, he was spending time with his family, and it's always a little weird when you merge 2 families and have to figure out what the holidays look like. So we just moved across the country to make that easier. No, that's not why we moved. But the first time that I took my husband to my mom's side of the family on Christmas Day, he had to walk outside and take a break for a few minutes and I was like, are you okay? What's wrong? He's like, my ears are ringing. It's so loud. And now that's all that I can really think of when I'm with them, because that's just the way that they communicate. It's not that people are angry and screaming at each other. It's that everyone just talks loud, and instead of anyone talking quieter, they just talk louder to be heard over the other loud people. Yeah, it delightfully chaotic is the way that I refer to it. And there was always, oh man, that side of the family, they could teach college courses on passive aggressiveness. And the way that the passive aggressiveness usually came out was during the gift exchange, because it got to a point where it wasn't realistic for every aunt and uncle to buy gifts for every single sibling and spouse and all of the kids, all their nieces and nephews. So we decided to break it up and do gift exchanges. There was a kids gift exchange and adult gift exchange. And the kids gift exchange was normal. The adult one, they decided for a few years they did a white elephant gift exchange. I don't know if it's still white elephant. I think it is. And white elephant in the sense that you would steal gifts from each other. It was very cutthroat, but there was always drama. There was one year that, oh my gosh, 2 of my uncles that don't really get along that well, the one for the white elephant gift exchange, it was, I don't know where he got this done, because it was a $20, $30 limit or whatever. Got this giant 4 foot by 3 foot painted portrait of his brother, one of his brothers. They do not have a great relationship, so this was entirely done as a jab. And oh my gosh, what did they do with it? They drew a mustache on it. It was, oh my gosh, even as a kid I thought, there's gonna be a fight. And I don't even remember what happened with that. But yeah, no, there was always drama, and my parents were always like, this is ridiculous. We joke and say, I don't know how I turned out okay. I turned out the most normal of my cousins, which, I mean, normal is relative, right? Oh, there goes a draw. So My dad's side, on the other hand, much smaller, much quieter. He only has a couple of siblings, and one of them never had kids. And my cousins on that side were much older because there's a bigger age gap between my dad and his siblings, and he's the youngest. But that was always much quieter, much tamer. So, yeah, so I guess for as long as I can remember, I very much associated the holidays with traveling to see family. That didn't change when I got married because we moved across the country and now we travel by plane to see family. That's a lot of time in the car and on a plane. But I am grateful for the time we get to spend with family, and I'm probably not going to take it for granted next year, assuming we're all good to travel next year. So we'll see. Yeah, I have still instead tried to spin that into, instead of focusing on like the loss of that kind of time with family and eating, my mom makes the most incredible Christmas cookies ever. Like, I'm sad that I don't get to fly home and just like eat my weight in Christmas cookies. And even, I'm a little grumpy though, I will say, because she mailed cookies to us, and she's done that before. But you all know how crazy the USPS is right now if you live in the States, right? Like, it's absolutely bonkers right now. Everything is taking forever, as is to be expected. Like, we're in the middle of a pandemic, plus the holiday season. It's fine. My expectations are very, very low. But my mom mailed cookies, and they sat in Ohio for 5 days without moving. And then it just kept saying in transit, arriving late. And then I went into my tracking to check on it. And instead of like moving west at all, it was like, they're at the regional sorting facility in Pennsylvania, which is the opposite direction of the country from where I live. So I'm secretly hoping that they're hopping on a plane tonight and that I will be eating Christmas cookies by the time this video has gone up, because I miss my mom's Christmas cookies. Does anyone else have really strong associations and traditions that they associate with the holidays around food? What are they? What are your favorite holiday foods? Even if it's not focused on this time of year, you can tell me what your favorite 4th of July food is. I don't know. I love hearing about people's favorite foods, favorite recipes, that sort of thing. So even though things are just looking really different on that front, I'm focusing on like, okay, maybe I can try making one of her recipes here instead, and then it'll be something I can do with my kiddos and make new and different kinds of memories in that sense. So I'm trying to think of it that way. Be grateful that my mom has shared her Christmas cookie recipes with me, and that that eventually they're going to get here from the mail. Yeah, so I'm hoping that I can continue to try to focus on the good things and the things we get to be grateful for as we move on through the holiday season. But I've been reflecting a lot on the past year, and like not only what do I have to be grateful for in the moment, but what are the good things that have come out of this year in spite of the craziness. I am so grateful that my family has learned the value of slowing down, which I know I mentioned that before. We tend to be a very go family. Pre-pandemic, honestly, I felt like if I wasn't out of the house and having at least gone to run an errand or poked my head in a store or something, at least once before lunchtime, I felt like stir crazy. And now I feel like I could just stay. It's okay if we just stay home and don't necessarily go anywhere and spend more time just sort of slow playing, just following our noses with playing with the kids at home. And I am grateful for our health. We've been very, very cautious and conservative as far as we have pretty well been staying at home and minimizing our outings. Our kids haven't really been out of the house much. When things were a little calmer, we expanded our social circle to another family that we knew was also very cautious, and the kids played, a couple of times a month on the weekends outside. But I'm so grateful that we have stayed healthy, and that as have our families. And my heart is very, very, very much with those for whom that's not been the case, especially during this time of year. So you're on my mind very, very much, and I'm thinking of you. And of course, my gosh, one of my favorite things that's come out of this year that I'm incredibly grateful for is this community and this hobby. It has been just wonderful. If I can get a little sappy for a minute, but I had no idea when I first saw that diamond painting sponsored post or ad or whatever on Facebook and thought, sure, I'll try one of those. That looks really relaxing. Like cross stitch, but with little diamond stones instead. Those time-lapse videos are so fascinating. Yes, I want to try that. I mean, marketing, good job. I had no idea when I started diamond painting and got that first kit that would lead to me finding friends that I consider just very, very close to my heart. A really wonderful, encouraging, and life-giving community that I am beyond grateful to be a part of here and on Instagram. For people that love to build one another up and will be the kind of people that check in on you when they haven't heard from you in a bit, and people that are like also ridiculously obsessed with this craft and don't mind talking about all the tiny little details and minutia of crafting. Because goodness knows that my husband he doesn't care about talking about, like, do you prefer rounds or squares? Sweetie, look at this new pen that I found. Ooh, look, this new small business I want to try. Like, right? So, yes, I am so grateful for this community and this hobby. I will definitely finish this one, obviously, before the end of the year. And then I have one other kit that I'm very close to finishing. Once I finish this and that one, I will have completed 23 diamond paintings this year. And I started in March or April. And most of them have been very large kits. Like this one was it 40 by 60? 50 by 60? This is like one of the smallest kits that I've worked on this year. So I don't think that's too shabby, especially for a craft that I just started. But I'm excited for next year and spending some time trying to think ahead just a little bit and maybe think through some, I almost hesitate to use the word goals because I don't want to like set expectations for myself too high or anything like that, because I'm still trying to go easy on myself with pandemic times. But I'm thinking through, some little changes I'd like to make here on the channel and goals that I'm setting for myself for like different companies that I want to try next year, and just some overall goals as well. I think I've shared from the very beginning on this channel that I have sort of a personal goal to work on a kit from each company that's out there that legally licenses their artwork. And I feel like that goal is getting harder and harder to complete because of the fabulous problem of we keep having more companies coming out that are legally licensing their artwork from artists. Best problem to have ever. But now I'm like, well, this is going to be a little tricky. I do still have that giant Josephine wall canvas from Diamond Painting Deutschland that I'm hoping I will finish sometime early next year. I haven't touched it in a month because I've had more like holiday time sensitive projects that I've wanted to work on, and like this one, but I'll be excited to get back to that pretty soon after the new year. But my throat is dry from chatting your guys' ears off, and my timer says that we are actually getting pretty close to that 1 hour mark here. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. I'll put a little dent in Santa and his reindeer here. Thank you so much for spending your time with me here, whether or not this went on as a premiere for the holiday event or if this just went up for my channel and subscribers. I am so grateful for all of you. You've made this journey really, really special and really fun, and I like to think that we're just getting started. So if you are new here and you made it all the way to the end, I hope you might consider subscribing and joining me here. I always love building this community and getting to know all of you as well. So also, if this was enjoyable for you, feel free to hit the like button as well. I always appreciate people that can do, if you can do that before you leave. And of course, I will get back to comments and whatnot as quickly as I can. But I hope you're all having a really wonderful holiday season. I'm thinking of all of you and just hoping that you're doing well. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you need someone to talk to or just want to feel less alone, because I am certainly here for that, and I do care about all of you. So have a really wonderful week. I will talk to you guys again soon. Happy holidays.